I used to say it like a joke because people laugh when a woman acts like she's the sun. I can have any man I want. It started as a harmless party line in my 20s and calcified into a personality trait no one asked for. I told myself it was confidence. In reality, it was a shield I carried into every room so I never had to feel small. The problem with wearing armor is you forget how heavy it is. Right up until you meet someone who makes you want to put it down and you realize you don't remember how. The someone was Marcus. I met him at my cousin's backyard graduation party on a Saturday that smelled like charcoal and cut grass. He arrived with a pan of mac and cheese he'd made from scratch. 3 cheeses, panko topping, the works. And an easy smile that didn't try to sell me anything. He was there because he's friends with my cousin's boyfriend. He grabbed extra chairs when more people showed up, found a lighter when the citronella candles went out, and sat on the ground so someone's grandma could have his seat. He didn't orbit the room, he tended it. When we finally spoke, it wasn't a meet cute, it was a "can you hand me that spatula?" and then a conversation that felt like sliding into a warm pool. He asked me what I did for fun and listened to the answer even when it veered into a rant about indie films that look like homework. He runs operations for a community food hub. Boring words for the kind of work that keeps families fed. He didn't talk about himself much. When he did, it came out with the gentleness of someone who thinks competence is a verb. I caught myself doing something I hadn't done in years, asking a follow-up question and meaning it. At the end of the night, he walked me to my car, not too close, not too far, and said, "It was nice to meet you, Alia," like he wasn't auditioning for Next Steps. I gave him my number because I wanted him to have it, not because I needed proof I could get it. He texted the next morning, not late that night. "Good luck with your Monday, hope it treats you soft." And I smiled like an idiot in the produce aisle because softness is my favorite word no one uses. We were simple for a while. Tuesday tacos on the couch, Saturday morning markets, a Sunday drive to nowhere because the radio played all the right songs. He fixed the sticky drawer in my kitchen without announcing it. He remembered my coffee order and learned my mom's birthday after hearing it once. He never made me chase him because he was always exactly where he said he'd be. There's a part of me that had been trained by chaos to distrust ease. Ease felt like a lullaby someone sings to distract you while they steal your wallet. So I tested him. At first it was tiny, "I'm busy tonight," when I wasn't, just to see if he'd push. He didn't, he said, "No problem." Rain check, and meant it. Then it was late replies and a flirty emoji on a coworker's story so he'd see it when my name popped up in the viewers list, a stupid way to light an insecurity I pretended I didn't have. Marcus never policed me. He also didn't perform jealousy. He'd say, "Have a good time," and then actually let me. My best friend Shayla cheered my freedom because she thinks the only thing worse than being tied down is being tied to someone decent. No adrenaline. "Keep him on his toes," she'd say, and I'd nod even though my toes were the ones cramping. The first real crack came at a rooftop party for a client. I work in event marketing, which is a fancy way of saying I make rooms feel full and then count how many people posted about it. Marcus came because I asked him to, wearing the navy shirt that makes his shoulders look like a promise. He talked to my boss about supply chains like it was a thriller and made the bar staff laugh. He isn't cool, but somehow he's cooler than men who try to be. Then my ex, Damien, showed up uninvited. He always finds a way into rooms that don't need him. Damien is bright and loud and wears Resk like cologne. He lives in the story I used to tell about myself, and I used to think that meant we were inevitable. He grabbed my waist like old rights are rights forever and said, "There she is," loud enough for Marcus to hear. I should have peeled his hand off, said, "I'm not your there." Instead, I let it linger a second too long because the old part of me wanted Marcus to see I had options, as if love is a swap meet. Marcus watched from across the terrace, unreadable. Later, when Damien told an audience of 3 about the time we snuck into a hotel pool at 2 a.m., I laughed too hard. I wanted Marcus to put an arm around me, to draw a circle, to play the game I understand. He didn't. He gave me a look that asked, "Are you good?" And I chose the version of me that needs witnesses. In the elevator after, he said, "You looked like you were acting in a show you don't even like." I snapped, "Not everyone wants to be home by 10 with a cup of tea." He said, quiet, "I like tea at 9. I also like being with you at midnight when you aren't performing for people who don't clap for you when the lights are off." It should have landed. Instead, I heard it as a dare. The next week, Shayla dragged me to a new lounge opening. Marcus texted at 8, "Movie here. Come by after?" I waited until midnight to reply maybe, then posted a boomerang of me dancing with a caption that read "Outside is calling" and tossed my phone in my bag like a grenade. He didn't text again that night. When I stumbled into his place the next afternoon with iced coffee as an apology gift, he was kneeling on the living room floor assembling a shoe rack for his hallway, a domestic detail that made me want to cry for the life I kept pretending I didn't want. We didn't fight. He gave me a kiss on my temple, poured me water, and asked if I'd eaten. I said, "You're not even mad?" He said, "Being mad is easy. Being clear is better. I don't want to do the thing where we test each other's patience just to measure the love. I'm not a scale. I promised I'd stop making it complicated. The problem with promising in the evening is morning arrives with your old self." 2 nights later, Damien invited me to a networking after hours that was really just a bar with worse lighting. I said yes because I'm allergic to being left out of rooms where stories get made. I told Marcus it was work, it wasn't. He replied, "Have fun. Lock your rideshare," and the way he takes care of me even when I don't deserve it made me reckless. Damien leaned too close and said, "Remember when you said no one could keep up with you?" I heard myself say, "Still true." He dared me to prove it at a poker table I didn't belong at, and I performed like a wind-up toy, laugh, hair flip, an arm around a shoulder so someone would take a photo. At 2 a.m, Shayla posted a clip of me singing into a bottle with a caption that listed no names but tagged the venue. Marcus saw it. He didn't text. I slept in, turned my phone face down, promised myself I'd do a big romantic gesture later. When I finally went to Marcus's, his spare key didn't work. He opened the door halfway and asked me to meet him at the cafe down the block. He had that look. Tired dignity again, the expression of a man who has measured twice and is ready to cut. He ordered my drink before I got there. He always does. And slid it across like a peace offering even though he was the one under siege. "I can't do this," he said without anger, and the lack of heat is what melted me. "I love you." I also love the version of me I remember before this started to feel like a competition I didn't sign up for. You don't need me. You need an audience. I opened my mouth to argue that needing an audience is a career hazard, that flirtation is a contact sport when you work in marketing, that I am a woman moving through rooms where allure is currency. He said, "You can be compelling without making me collateral." He talked about boundaries like they were shelves that keep a home from becoming a pile. He said he believed I could put things on shelves if I wanted to. He also said he wouldn't wait around to see if I learned. He returned my key, took his off my ring, and left it on the table. He hugged me like you hug a friend you won't see again for a long time and left to go unload a truck at the hub because people still needed to eat even if I needed to be dramatic. I did the thing people do when consequences finally arrive, I bargained with the air. I texted apologies that sounded like a script. I sent flowers to his job, which was deeply inappropriate because now the volunteers had to find a vase and a reason. He sent a single message, "Thank you for the thought. Let's keep work separate." I hated him a little for being so good that he denied me the scene. Weeks moved like honey. My apartment felt too loud. I said yes to everything. Launches, soft openings, rooftop yoga. Because sitting still made me hear the parts of me I don't like. In a moment of pure hubris, I posted a story captioned "Unbothered" while crying into pad thai and muted his profile so I wouldn't catch him being okay. It didn't help. The first time I saw him after was at my cousin's baby shower in a church basement with folding chairs, the most unglamorous place in the world and therefore the safest. He was installing a portable sink the clinic had rented, sleeves rolled, forearms like competence. He didn't flinch when he saw me. He said hello, asked how work was, and complimented my shoes because he notices everything even when I don't deserve noticing. Then a woman came in carrying a tray of cupcakes with little sugar ducks. She was small and bright-eyed, the kind of pretty that looks like kindness, and she walked straight to the sink and washed her hands like a professional. "This is Zara," my cousin said later. "She runs the community kitchen with Marcus. She's a wizard." I smelled cinnamon and citrus on her sweater and wanted to hate her and couldn't. She joked with the aunties, got on the floor to play cars with a toddler, and cut cake with the precision of someone who respects corners. When she laughed, Marcus looked like he was watching his favorite song climb a chart. I told myself I was fine, then went to the bathroom and sat on the closed toilet lid and stared at my own face until it blurred. After the shower, Marcus and Zara loaded trays into his car like a choreographed kindness show. He buckled everything with bungee cords. The opposite of Damien's trunk, which looked like a yard sale in a windstorm. And something in me cracked again. I went home and wrote an apology I didn't send because it was about me feeling better, not him being okay. Then I did something frightening. I made a list of the moments I'd chosen performance over presence. It started small. The rooftop party, the late replies, the bar. Then it got petty, the way I leaned away from him during a photo so someone would ask if we were fighting, the times I forgot to post him because my grid is curated, the night I pretended not to see his mom's call because I didn't want to talk quietly on speaker by a window when there was a crowd laughing on a patio. The list made me sick. I thought making it would earn me redemption points, it only earned me the truth. I tried to fix it the way you fix a brand, grand gesture, clear message, relaunch. I showed up at the food hub on volunteer night and signed in with my legal name, no flourish. Marcus was in the back working a pallet jack. He didn't send me away, which I took as permission. Zara taught me how to break down boxes fast, how to sort bruised fruit into smoothie bags, how to talk to people who come in without asking questions they don't want to answer. I came back the next week, and the week after that, because it felt good to be useful to someone who didn't know my story. It didn't win him back. It did win me back to myself a little, which is a boring sentence I wish were sexier, but boring turned out to be a lifeline. One night as we were stacking the last crates, he said, "You're good at this," and I almost cried because praise from him lands like a benediction. I said, "I'm trying to be good at not making everything about me." He nodded. We didn't go get coffee. He didn't ask me to talk. He did open the door for Zara with his body like she was carrying something breakable, which, I guess, she was, his piece. The news reached me the way good news always reaches exes. Through people who love me enough to tell me plainly. My cousin texted a photo of a picnic in the park, blanket, thermos, 2 sandwiches wrapped like they were loved. "They're perfect," she wrote. "You'll find your perfect in a different shape." I didn't respond because generosity makes me cry in public. A month later, I saw the engagement announcement in a corner of the internet that doesn't care about followers. Just a shot of two hands, a simple ring, a caption, "We're building something." No hashtags. No performance. Just a plan. That night, Damien messaged me "You up," like the ghost of bad decisions, and for the first time in my life, I didn't even feel the pull. I blocked the number and put my phone on the table and went to bed at 10 with tea because apparently time is a circle and you eventually become the person you once mocked if you're lucky. People ask why we broke up and I could say, we wanted different things, but the truth is I wanted the performance more than the person. I bragged I could have any man I wanted, and then I met one I didn't deserve and lost him because wanting isn't the same as choosing. I used to treat love like a room where I stood on a chair and asked everyone to clap. He wanted a kitchen where two people chop onions and don't cut themselves. He has that now. I still go to the hub on Thursdays. I'm better at the pallet jack. Zara taught me how to temper chocolate for the holiday boxes. I once thought tempering was a metaphor, now I know it's about control and patience, two things I'm learning without an audience. Sometimes Marcus thanks me and sometimes he forgets because he's busy, and that is its own progress for me. Being okay in a room where my name isn't the subject line. I can't get over him yet. Maybe I won't for a while. But getting over him isn't the goal anymore. The goal is getting over the version of me who needed the whole room to look at her to believe she existed. When I catch a glimpse of them loading cases side by side, laughing about nothing, I don't imagine myself in her place. I imagine the work still getting done if no one took a picture. That's a life I'm finally, quietly interested in. And if someone asks me now what kind of man I can have, I tell the truth, I can have the kind I choose to treat well. The rest, the good ones, will walk calmly, kindly, toward a woman who knows how to put down her armor and pick up a box.